Hey, welcome to Dibs on Blue. I'm Stephanie, and this is my sign name. Today, I want to show how to play Charterstone. Thank you to my patrons and to the publisher Stonemaier Games for sponsoring this video. In this game, the king sent you to explore and search for new land to control. Constructing buildings, collecting resources, hiring assistants, and completing objectives. Players compete to win the game. This game is known as a legacy game, which means the game will change over time. You'll play the game 12 times, and each time you play, you'll discover new things and have new experiences. You'll write on the board and put stickers on things, changing the game forevermore. I don't want to ruin anything in this video by showing and explaining everything about the game, but I'll be explaining enough information for you to be able to play. Once you play through 12 games, you can continue to play the game. However, nothing will change from that point on. You can buy a recharge pack that allows you to play it like a brand new game, using the other side of the game board. The game includes a book called the Chronicle, which explains rules you need to know to start the game. However, there are many areas in the book that are empty. You may fill those areas in with stickers as you play, which will change the rules. There are boxes included that you will open, but you must wait until you read something or something happens in the game explaining that you should open that particular box. Which is exciting because you have no idea what's in those boxes until you are informed to open them. To set up, open the box labeled Index. Inside the box, there are decks of cards individually wrapped. You can unwrap them now, but be careful. You don't want to look at the cards since those should be a secret. After you unwrap them, put them back in the box in the same order. Each card is numbered, so make sure the cards stay in order. Now, the Chronicle explains you should read card number 1. The blue text is the story. Someone can read that, letting others know what it says. The next set of text represents the rules. So, put the board in the middle of the table. You need the objective board and the advancement board as well. Now, peel card number 1's sticker and put it in the Chronicle. See the area for story 1 here? It matches the story number on the card. Now, the card says you need to read card number 2. The leftover card number 1 should be put in the box labeled Archive. If you buy a recharge pack and want to start a brand new game, you will know which cards to replace since they will be in the archive box. Read card number 2, which says to open the box labeled Scriptorium. Inside the box, there are components you need to place on the table. The resources included are coins, grain, wood, metal, pumpkin, coal, and clay. If it's your very first game, each player gets 4 coins. There's a progress token in the game that's put in the progress area of the board on the spot matching the number of players. So, in a 2-player game, the progress token should go on the 2p spot. Put the included die somewhere nearby as well. Now, peel card number 2's sticker off and place it in the Chronicle in the designated spot for story 2. Now, card number 2 says you need card number 3. The board has 6 areas called charters. Each player needs to choose a charter. You may need to change seats at this time since players should sit near the charter they chose. Each charter has 6 hexagons, a banner, and a symbol. Now, you need your charter chest that matches your charter symbol. Inside, there are 2 workers, one big and one small. But the size of the workers doesn't matter. Their actions are the same. You'll also have influence tokens and a victory point marker, which should be placed on the 0 on the victory point track. Now, you need cards 200 to 205. Give each player the card with the character symbol matching the charter they chose. So, if you chose the blue charter, this would be your character. Think about a name for the character and write the name on the character card. If a character is not going to be used, place the character card in the matching charter chest. Now, it's time to read card number 4. This card explains you need cards 5 through 10. Give each player the card with the symbol matching the charter they chose. If the card is not going to be used, just set it aside for now. The card you just got will have a sticker you need to peel off and place on any one hex in your charter. If the card has a box on it, which is really a crate, then you need to keep that card in front of you. That card represents a building. You can use this card later throughout the game. If the card doesn't have a crate on it, you can put the card inside the archive box. Now you need to read card number 11. If there are less than 6 players, some charters will not be played, but the game will dictate how those charters can be used. If you want every charter to behave as if they're controlled by a player, you can use the Automa book, which explains how to do that. But if it's your first time playing, that isn't suggested. Anyway, place stickers 5 through 10 on the game board, regardless of whether it's tied to a real player or not. The leftover cards from charters not tied to real players should be placed face down on the advancement board, which I'll explain in a bit. Now, you need to read card number 12, which explains you need cards 206 to 218. There are 8 assistants, which should be shuffled in with the advancement cards and placed face down again. Then flip 5 advancement cards face up. The 5 objective cards should be shuffled and placed face down on the objective board. Then flip 3 objective cards face up. Now, roll the die over and over until you see a symbol matching the charter symbol of one of the players. That player keeps the die as a representation that they are first player. Now, you're ready to play. Cards number 12 through 18 explain important rules needed to know how to play. I'm gonna just go ahead and explain those, but just know that every single card should be read and followed in order in a step-by-step manner. So I'm just gonna run through the rules to that point now. On your turn, you have 2 options. Your first option is to put one of your workers on a building. Or you can take all of your workers back from the board. If you choose to place a worker, you have 3 actions. If there's already another worker on that building, regardless if it belongs to you or another player, that worker is returned to the player. Then you have to pay the cost of that building. You can see the cost to the left of the building. If you don't understand an icon during the game, the rulebook outlines what all of them mean. If you place a worker on a charter's building, there isn't a cost. In this case, you would just earn 1 coal. If any of the resources in the general supply ever run out, then you can't collect that resource. If you place a worker on a common building, like in this example, then you have to pay any one resource of your choosing, returning it to the general supply. Now you get to earn something. The right area of the building denotes what you will earn. In this case, you would earn 1 coin. In this case, you would collect 1 face-up advancement card. Then, immediately replenish that face-up card by drawing a new one. There are different types of advancement cards with labels explaining what they are. If you collect an assistant and it doesn't have a name, you can give them one by writing it on the card. Assistants will be labeled with instructions if something happens in the game. You'll get to earn something. This type of advancement card is a building, which you can use later. Throughout the game, you may need to discard advancement cards. If so, they should be placed face-up in the general discard pile for advancement cards. If the advancement card deck should ever run out, shuffle the discard pile to form a new deck. If you discover a new advancement card during the game, take that card and shuffle it with the discard deck and the existing advancement card deck to form a new deck. Placing your worker on this building during your first game is really important. To go here, you have to pay 2 influence tokens and 4 coins, putting them in the general supply. Now, you would earn 5 points and the ability to open one of your crates. You can open the crate of your starter building or any card you may have collected from the advancement board. But be aware that if a building card still has the sticker, you cannot open the crate. In this example, if you want to open crate number 5, look at the index card included in the game. Or you can look inside the index box lid, which has the same information. Look at the row with the number matching the crate number on the building card. Now you will earn something. In this example, you would earn cards 88, 89, and 303. If you earn a persona, put it inside your charter chest. A future rule card explains that you can't use the persona in this game, but next time you play, you can choose one to use. Personas are labeled with special abilities that can be pretty cool. In later games, you'll learn about the triangle getting filled in, which represents you have used the persona. At the end of the entire 12-game campaign, you will earn points. Anyway, if you didn't get a persona, place the cards face up near you. And that concludes opening the crate. Put the used building card with the crate you just opened inside the archive. Now you need to move the progress token. See this symbol here? It means that when you open a crate, you must advance the progress token 1 space towards the blue fire. If, when you opened the crate, you earned a new building card, you can construct that building by visiting the Zeppelin. If you place a worker on the Zeppelin, pay 3 influence tokens to the general supply. Then, pay the 4 resources listed on the building card you're trying to construct. In this example, you would need to pay 2 metal, 1 coal, and 1 pumpkin. After paying the cost, you can place the sticker in any hex in your charter. Now, There's a new building available for you and other players to visit and earn different things. This here means you will earn victory points at the end of the campaign. After constructing a building, check the building card for a crate. If it doesn't have one, put the card in the archive box. But if it does have a crate, place the card face up in front of you. Now you earn 5 points. At this time, the progress token needs to be advanced. This symbol here means that anytime a building is constructed, the progress token must advance 1 space towards the blue fire. If it ends up on a boat, you place one of your influence tokens on the reputation track. The first time a player puts an influence token here, it should be placed on the spot matching the player count, in this case 2. The next time a player places a token here, it must be placed next to the previous token, getting closer to the water. You want more tokens on this track because you can earn more points at the end of the game. Placing a worker here means you can place 1 influence token on an objective card to represent you've completed the objective. In this example, placing your influence token on this card means you have at least 1 of each resource. Each player can use each objective card 1 time. Now it's time to earn something. To the right, we see you move up 5 points on the victory point track. At this time, the progress token must advance. This symbol here means that anytime a player completes and claims an objective, the progress token must advance 1 space towards the blue fire. You'll learn about this symbol in the game as you discover things and have new experiences. But for now, I'll keep that a secret. If you place a worker on the cloud port area of the board, you have to pay an influence token. Place it on one of the empty spaces, and you'll earn something. For example, placing a token here means you must pay 2 coins. Then you'll look to see what you've earned, and in this case, you get to earn 1 point. Then the right area of the building means you earn 3 points. In another example, if you place a token here, you have to pay 3 advancement cards. So discard 3 advancement cards you have in your possession. Then you earn the boat, which refers to placing an influence token on the reputation track. Now you can earn 3 points. Placing a token here doesn't earn you anything additional, but you still earn the 3 points from visiting the cloud port. Be very aware that if you happen to run out of influence tokens, that's it. You won't have any to use to pay for things or place on the board. After this game, you get them back to use for the next game, but running out of them in this current game means you won't have any. There may be something that happens during the game that allows you to get influence tokens back, and if that does happen, check the general supply. If there are influence tokens, you can take them from there. But if at the start of your turn you don't have any influence tokens, you must advance the progress token 1 space towards the blue fire. A future card explains that if the progress token reaches the blue fire, the last round is triggered. If your turn hasn't happened yet in this final round, then you can still take your turn. Once that last round is finished, the game is over. Then it's time to earn points. If you have the most tokens on the reputation track, you earn 10 points. If you have the second most, you earn 7 points. And if you have the third most, you earn 4 points. Ties here don't matter. You will earn the points for being first, second, and third. If you don't have any tokens on the track, you can't earn anything. If you have any cards with this symbol, you would earn those points explained for those cards. The victory point track has a star symbol at every 10 points. You earn 1 point for every star symbol you pass or are on. So if you have 32 points, you would earn 3 points. The back of your charter chest has a bunch of stars. For each star point you earn, you can fill in a star. Filling in a row means that at the start of the next game, you start with that benefit. For example, filling this row means that at the start of the next game, you start with 3 points. If you have the most points in the game, you can fill in a trophy symbol. At the end of the entire campaign, you will earn points. If it's your first game and you don't have the most points, you can create your charter name and write it on the banner. If you do have the most points, you can't create your own charter name. Instead, the other players create your charter name for you. They can also come up with the names for the unused charters. All of your resources, coins, influence tokens, workers, and cards should be kept and placed in your charter chest. In the future, you may not be allowed to keep everything, but you can at the end of your first game. Well, that's it for explaining Charterstone. Thanks again, patrons and Stonemaier Games. If you've enjoyed watching, subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Dibs On Blue Games. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I will gladly respond. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.